So, yeah, sorry about the technical guys. Well, maybe we should just do some of the meet and greet stuff before we go on. If you guys missed that, my name is Drikus Prins. I'm one of the elders here at Church Unlimited in Nelspruit. I'm a business place elder and a business owner and an employer and an employee. And today I'm joined by Heinrich.
Good morning, everyone. Just to greet you again if you missed it, my name is Heinrich Coomans. I'm a financial advisor at a company in Nelspruit here called Affluence Group. I'm also a member of the church, and I'm very excited about spending this morning with Drikus and you guys.
Yeah. So I've just read a scripture from James 1 that is relevant to the chat this morning. I'm just going to read two of the scriptures quickly so that we can carry on. But it's just from James 1, and it says here in verse 2, count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds. For you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. So really, guys, I really feel that this is a time for all of us that is a testing time. It's a time where we are all being put through trials and tribulations, and even if in terms of our businesses, if you're an employer or an employee, we are being put through the hoops, and essentially we're being put through the fire. And hopefully what comes out on the other side will be better for it, and it will be leaner, and it will be able to take on every day with a better understanding of these difficult times. We want to try and talk through a couple of things this morning. If you are on Facebook with us and you want to give us a comment or a question, feel free to do so. We're going to try and answer some of those questions. And then we're going to talk about some of the practicalities, do's and don'ts. Heinrich will give us some insight into the current markets and the economy. And we're just going to have a nice chat about those things and see where the conversation takes us. But before we start, I wanted to just give you my perspective on this lockdown and on the virus, and just give you some insight from somebody that does own a business and operate a business in these difficult times, like all of you guys. We are in the agricultural sector, so we've been able to work on level 5. We are lucky to do so, but some of you might not be. Some of you might only be able to go back to business once it's reached level 1. But really, even for us, it's been very difficult in this time. We have had to take some difficult decisions, and like all of you guys, look, all of the rest of South Africa, we've had to do the essential things like protocols when we receive people, when we work, when we drive together, when we see clients and service them. We've had to readjust our setup at work, our space, sanitize everything. The people that come into work has to have masks and all of those essential things that we had to adjust in our business. But more so, we've had to take really tough decisions. We've had to really reevaluate our business and see what are comfortabilities in our business in terms of our overheads, in terms of the way that we approach clients, the way that we drive around and spend money, the way that we try and gain business. There are absolutely no comfortabilities anymore. We've had to get our business in a lean state. So we had to trim a bit. We had to take some steps. We had to make some financial decisions, and it's really hard. I think we are of the mindset as Christians that we want to plant and build. We want to try and invest in our community, in our region, in our country. We love South Africa. We love staying here. We love doing business here. This is where we want to be. So we've always been of the mindset that we want to reinvest in this city and in this community that we live in. But in this, lockdown, it's been really difficult to have that mindset of still building and planting. But guys, when we look in the scriptures, that is when the Israelites were busy rebuilding the wall, they had the same mindset. Even in difficult times, they still had to build and plant. And when we are in ruins and we're going through difficult times, the only thing that will pick it up or change the economy or change the scene or the landscape is when we do that ourselves. We have to do it within the regulations that has been given to us, but there are many things that we can do, starting with just a positive outlook on the circumstances. Looking at what are the things that we can do instead of looking at the things that we cannot do. So really, we wanted to try and just encourage all of you guys. Don't despair. Don't look at the things that we cannot do, the things that we do not have, the rules that are kind of pushing our abilities down. Rather, look at the things that we can do. If you have time, then use that time. If you have to do things in a different way and you have to develop yourself, then do that. If you have to learn a new skill, video editing, for instance, then do that. If you have to put yourself out on the internet, then do that. I think that there's much in this time of self-reflection and self-evaluation that we can do for ourselves and for our businesses also, to try and become leaner, consolidate, and do things in a more productive way. So we just wanted to talk about some practical points before we take some questions from you guys. We want to talk about stuff like unemployment and what do you do. I'm thinking, Heinrich, of like a scenario where somebody as an employee has been retrenched or laid off because of this lockdown and the impact on the economy and on the businesses. Let's start with the employee. What is the things that an employee can do for himself when let's say he's been laid off? What is the steps that he can take now?
Yeah, because I think we are all aware of some of the funding that has been made available by the government, and one of the big areas that has been successful during this time is the UIF route, or if you go through that process. And I've spoken to many of my clients, many employees and employers has been successful in the process of claiming through the UIF process. If you do it correctly, most of the people that I've spoken to and that I've been involved with has been successful. Okay. So I'll definitely, from employee side, that will definitely be my first approach, and that will help you in terms of financial resolve for the short term.
Yeah. So can an employee claim his full salary, or is it only a certain percentage of his salary that he's going to be able to claim back from the UIF system?
Yeah. So there is a sliding scale or a table. It depends on what your salary curve is, or what salary bracket you are.
Yeah.
So depending on that will influence on what amount you will be able to claim back.
Yes.
If you are a lower income earner, you'll be able to claim a larger percentage back of your salary. But if you are a higher income earner, that percentage will be less in terms of what you will be able to claim from the UIF.
Okay. And then maybe just, I think there's some pitfalls and uncertainties. If you want to take a payment holiday, for instance, on your home loan, or you want to ask the person that you're renting your property from, if you want to take a break from paying your rent, or what kind of steps are there to get payment holidays from the bank, and what's the pitfalls in those areas?
Yes, Drikus, I think that's very important. I think we all know business is tough, and from a business point of view and a personal financial point of view, a lot of people has had to take measurements in terms of monthly cash flow to resolve that. And you've mentioned debt as an instance, and the banks has been giving solution to clients in terms of debts, how to take let's call it a payment holiday in terms of your debt repayment for a certain period. I think the pitfalls that I've seen through this period is the banks are not necessarily, I think, they still want to gain from this whole process, and one of the things they do is they allow you to up your loan. They are willing to give you an additional loan amount, which then you must use as funding in the next 3 months to repay your debt. So I think the pitfall in that instance is at the end of the lockdown, you'll just sit with more debt. And I think we don't want to be in that solution. Most of the banks are pushing for that solution because at the end of the day, they sit with a higher debt on their books, which is more income from the bank's point of view.
So it's not really a payment holiday.
Not necessarily. You do have a relief for a 3-month period.
Yeah.
But in the long run, you're sitting with more debt in your hands. I think the other solution is where they do give a payment holiday, but they still charge interest over the period that you take a payment holiday. So that I think is a better solution than the first solution that they're giving to clients. So if you're in that position and you don't have any other alternatives, try and go for the second option where you don't repay in the next 3 months or so, but the bank still accrue interest on the outstanding debt. The long-term effect will be that you'll still have the same debt outstanding to the bank, but you'll just pay your term in terms of which you pay back the debt will just be a bit longer.
Yeah, and I also think that there are some requirements that you really have to be in a situation where there's no other alternative. Otherwise, the banks aren't as forthcoming about helping out in terms of a payment holiday. So I really think that even in terms of a Christian point of view, guys, we have to really be honest with ourselves and reassess our situations with perspective and transparency, because we don't want to go into this situation if we still are kind of in a situation where everything is still manageable, and we do have a rainy day fund where we can get through this difficult time. I think it would be we would be missing out on the opportunity to create a testimony here, because if we go to the bank and ask for holidays and we are actually okay and we do have the ability to go forward, then we are putting a bit of a strain on the economy. And I think we have to have faith that God will provide for us, even if you only have enough for another month or another 2 months. Trust God that He will provide day by day and month by month. I really want to encourage you guys to keep on paying your workers, your employees. I want to encourage you guys, if you've got domestic guys that work for you, even if they can't come and help you out at the moment, try and pay a portion or a percentage of their salary. Try and do as much as you can and trust God for the rest, because we're all in it together. If we're all gonna skimp and be stingy in this time of need, it's gonna have much more of a ripple effect into the people that we care about, the economy, our community, and the environment that we operate in. So it's not really a pay it forward kind of thing, but I think it's a Christian mindset of building and planting even in the midst of the ruins. So another question that I wanted to ask, Heinrich, is if you are a business owner and employer, what kind of I know that there are some tax benefits that you can. There's some delays in payment of your pay as you earn, for instance. And there's a couple of things that you can do as a business owner to also try and alleviate your cash flow specifically, and the available capital that you have to run your business.
Drikus, yeah, I think I want to add on what you said in terms of business owners. I think we all going through a difficult stage, and I think to if we don't use this time to review our state of business and the situation your business is in, and you don't use this time to really reflect and go through each line item in your business to say, where can I cut on my cost, in not only now but in the long run, we will get through this as stronger businesses. And I do encourage you that even in your personal life, to look at your budget and go through it line by line to really see where can you cut. Not only now but in the long run. If we're gonna get through this period and you don't get to the other side as a more robust business or individual that takes control of his personal finances, you're gonna miss a great opportunity in the long run. But to get to your point, for businesses, the government has made available a few solutions for businesses. You've mentioned on one, and the one is that from a pay-as-you-earn perspective, you can defer your pay-as-you-earn payment over a certain period going forward. It is only a percentage. So to the best of my knowledge, I think 35% of your pay-as-you-earn liability you can defer, and then after the period you have to repay that 35% pay-as-you-earn amount over a 6-month period to SARS. So again, a lot of these solutions are not necessarily immediate. It is immediate solutions, but it's deferring it to a later stage. And I think that's where business owners must be careful. And you've started the message out by saying this virus is going to be with us for the indefinite future, and the knock-on effect on the economy, I don't think we felt it, even though we're feeling it now. I think for the rest of this year and the foreseeable future, businesses are going to struggle, and the economy is going to be under pressure. So deferring your liabilities to the future might not always be the best solution. But I mean, I think the most important thing you must do is our businesses must survive.
Yeah.
Because businesses create job opportunities, employment. So at the end of the day, do whatever is necessary for your business to survive this period.
Yeah, I just want to read the second part of the scripture if you guys didn't catch it before we had some technical difficulties. But it says here in 1 James 5 verse 5, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. And guys, I just want to encourage you, in this time, if we are trusting in God and we're asking God for wisdom, then we have to have faith in God when we go through these times. It doesn't help us and our spiritual space that we are asking these things from God, but we're still doubting, we're still fretting, we're still anxious. Because then the Bible says that then it's almost doesn't help you to ask God for wisdom. So we have to ask God for these things and trust in faith that God will give it to us. And I want to encourage you guys, what I said earlier, in the same way that you still build and plant in your business, do the same thing in your spiritual life. Guys, just for myself, I can't stop tithing when it's going tough. I can't cut my tithing, for instance, and think that it's I can trust and kind of think that everything is going to become better because I've got more finances available. We have to still operate in faith and do like we did before the stressful times. So I just wanted to almost bring this talk to a close, but before we do, just want to touch on the status of our economy, the junk status, maybe just the rand dollar. It's got some negative effects, but it also has some positive effects for us.
For all the exporters.
For all the exporters. So if you're in a space where you're concerned about the junk status, maybe we can just say 2 minutes about that.
Yeah, Drikus, I think as a country, I think there's no illusion that we are, the country and the economy is going through a very hectic time. We have been downgraded by all the rating agencies to junk status at this stage. And I think the question is always what impact will that have on each one of us as business owners and as individuals. And without getting very technical about it, what junk status means is just basically the instruments that the government makes available to raise financing for the government is not available to foreign investors anymore. So what happened there is that there was a large amount of money, billions of rands that was invested in South Africa through offshore investors, offshore other countries that bought some of these instruments from our government. And that's not available anymore. And the knock-on effect is basically that a lot of money leaves the shores of South Africa, and it puts pressure on the South African government to raise funds and on the Reserve Bank as well. We've seen the knock-on effect on that. The rand has gone out to its highest level ever. And that's normal. If you look at most countries that went through junk status, the currency spikes and then it starts to strengthen over time again. So that will come down in the future a little bit again. But for the short term, we know it's going to be tough. We know the economy is under great strain. The one positive thing that the Reserve Bank has made available is decreased interest rates with 2% over the last 2 months, which all of you that has debt would have seen makes a massive difference in your cash flow. So that's just basically a short wrap about the current economic stage.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Thanks, Heinrich. Guys, I just wanted to maybe in closing encourage you. I think we all know, and we all know deep down in our hearts, we're going to get through this lockdown, we're going to get through this difficult time, we're going to get through to the other side. But in this circumstances, in this time of trial and tribulation, I believe in my heart that this is a golden opportunity for us to accumulate and raise testimonies for the kingdom, for the sake of the kingdom. Guys, there are many ways. If you give a guy $10 salary increase or whatever, and you forget about it, maybe 10 years down the line you're gonna hear about a testimony coming from that. There are so many opportunities for us to be part of God's plan in this difficult time. There are countless ways where you can contribute, not expecting anything in return, but doing something with the expectation that it will create a testimony somewhere down the line for the sake of the kingdom. Guys, we're in this for God and for God's kingdom, not for anything else. This is difficult times, and we're gonna try and be ambassadors for the kingdom as much as we can. And sure, we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna have difficult times here and there, and we're gonna not always be our best versions of ourselves, but I believe we can grow in this time. I believe we can accumulate testimonies. I believe we can be ambassadors for the kingdom, and we just want to really encourage you guys to do that, to stay strong, keep the faith, keep praying, keep asking God for wisdom, and fellowship as much as you can. Phone your friend, WhatsApp your friend, talk to guys, talk to your parents, talk to your kids, spend some time with your kids, guys. A golden opportunity to invest in your kids. And yeah, man, stay strong. We love you guys. We miss you. We hope to see you soon. And yeah, bless all of you. Thanks, guys.